In modern warfare, outcomes are no longer decided by a single dramatic moment, not by one massive strike, not by the loudest headline, and not by the most futuristic weapon on display. Victory today is shaped by systems that can operate repeatedly, systems that absorb losses without collapsing, systems that learn faster than their opponents. The war in Ukraine has become an open laboratory for modern military thought. Every theory is tested, every doctrine is forced into contact with reality, and many long-held assumptions have failed. One of those assumptions was that attack helicopters would lose relevance, that the modern battlefield would be too lethal, that drones and long-range missiles would replace them entirely. Reality has shown otherwise. In recent days, one Russian aerial platform has re-emerged across battlefield reports, intelligence assessments, and international strategic discussions, not because of publicity, but because of repeated presence at critical moments of combat. This aircraft does not operate from safe altitude. It works low, close to danger, and directly within the friction of ground warfare. Its name is Ka-52 Alligator. To understand the Ka-52, it must be viewed through the philosophy that created it. This is not merely a weapons platform. It is a reflection of how Russia conceptualizes war. The Ka-52 was not built for sterile battlefields. It was built for chaos, electronic interference, harsh weather, human error, and sustained psychological pressure. The coaxial rotor design is not a stylistic choice. It removes the tail rotor, one of the most vulnerable components on conventional helicopters. This increases survivability and enhances control at very low altitude. Stability while hovering allows brief but decisive firing windows. Aggressive maneuverability enables rapid directional changes in confined airspace. Every design choice favors function over elegance. The Ka-52 was not designed to never be shot down. It was designed to remain useful even when loss is expected. In real war, this philosophy often proves more relevant than technical perfection. In Ukraine, the Ka-52 is not employed indiscriminately. It is used as a pressure instrument. The helicopter appears at specific phases of ground combat, when Ukrainian units begin to concentrate, when armored formations start to move, when operational momentum begins to build. Its objectives are rarely spectacular. It does not seek total destruction, it seeks disruption, disruption of tempo, disruption of coordination, disruption of confidence at the tactical level. Strikes are conducted from carefully calculated distances. Terrain is used as cover, timing is used as a weapon. The Ka-52 enters, engages, and withdraws. This pattern repeats across multiple sectors, across multiple phases of the war. Patterns that repeat are not coincidence, they are doctrine. The Ka-52 does not operate alone. This is central to its relevance. In Ukraine, Russia has increasingly integrated the helicopter into a wider sensor network. Reconnaissance drones move ahead of operations. They detect movement, confirm targets, and transmit data. The Ka-52 functions as the executor. Fast, precise, measured. Other systems follow: artillery, strike drones, or ground units. This is not platform-centric warfare. It is networked warfare. Within this framework, the Ka-52 is not simply a helicopter. It is a node, and effective nodes are preserved. One of the most telling indicators comes not from Russian statements, but from opposing assessments. Western analysts, Ukrainian reports, and independent observers consistently describe the Ka-52 as one of Russia's most persistently impactful aerial assets, not because of sheer numbers, but because of timing and placement. It forces plan revisions, delays advances, and keeps air defenses under constant strain. In information warfare, Such acknowledgments are rarely made without compelling evidence. This is where tactical discussion turns strategic. The Ka-52 is not a limited project. It is not experimental. It is embedded within an ongoing military-industrial cycle. Damaged aircraft are replaced. Older units are modernized. Effective configurations are produced again. Mass production is not merely about quantity, it is about sustained pressure. It signals that Russia is not relying on isolated tactical success, but on cumulative, long-term operational stress. In prolonged conflicts, consistency often matters more than surprise. The Ka-52 in service today is not the Ka-52 of a decade ago, nor even the Ka-52 of the early war phase. Each identified weakness becomes feedback. Each success becomes a baseline. Sensors are improved because the battlefield demands it. Avionics are adjusted as electronic warfare intensifies. Drone integration expands because it proves effective. This is not cosmetic modernization. It is adaptive survival. Incrementally, the aircraft changes, not toward perfection, but toward suitability, and suitability determines survival. Every Ka-52 sortie forces a response. There is no option to ignore it. Air defenses must be dispersed. Systems must relocate. Units must remain alert. All of this consumes resources, time, energy, focus. The Ka-52 does not need air superiority. It only needs to impose uncertainty. Constant readiness is a form of strategic fatigue. For Russia, the Ka-52 validates a particular approach to modern warfare. That low-altitude dominance still matters. That attack helicopters remain relevant. That functional simplicity retains value. It is not a symbol of absolute superiority. It is a working tool. It can be lost, it can be replaced, and it can return. In long wars, what returns is what endures. The Ka-52 is in the spotlight not because of spectacle, but because of consistency. The real question is not whether the aircraft is invulnerable. The question is what its continued presence tells us about the future of warfare. Will future conflicts be decided by systems that endure rather than those that impress? Will sustained pressure outweigh technological shock? And will low-altitude control reassert itself as a decisive factor? These are questions worth thinking through together. If you value calm, structured, field-based analysis, consider supporting the channel by subscribing and joining the discussion in the comments. This channel does not seek to glorify violence or armed conflict. All content is presented for educational purposes, strategic understanding, and open discussion. The views expressed do not represent any government or military institution and are not intended as provocation. War is a tragedy. Understanding it is a necessity. Thank you for watching.